What's up, guys? If you're not subscribed, please subscribe. Also, please smash that like button on the video and enjoy the show.
Because, you go to, not that the First Lady didn't do nice things, but we went to nice events and, first-class treatment. So they're like, yeah, fine living and dining. So
But you protected, at some point, like you told the story earlier of like technically protecting Bush when he came to Ground Zero. That's a part of that detail.
So,
but had you ever been on any sort of details before the Obamas with the previous administration?
So you would, before you go full-time, that was full-time. You help with other details. So the way you help is, here's who gets protection. Current president, vice president, former presidents, all former presidents till they die, and their spouses, okay? In addition to that, foreign heads of state. So when a foreign head of state comes to the U.S., we protect them. So you brought up China before. Actually, in the book, when you go in later, there was a story in the book where, I got into a fight with some Chinese general, like a physical fight. He hit me first. I was
going to say Xi.
No, but he hit me first.
You got into a fight?
He drew first blood, not me.
You got into a fight with him.
That was very common. We would get into fist fights with foreign countries because they didn't like the way we would do things. And then I think a lot of countries have their personality comes through in their administration and their protection details. So you would have, we knew like which country is coming in, like, hey, just get ready.
You hit him with that Queens Boulevard left hook?
He was trying to get into a meeting that President Barack Obama was in at at one of the summits, the G summits. And I was the agent in charge at the site. So he's trying to sneak in. It was called a bilateral meeting, which was POTUS, President of China, and each side had like 5 people. Our 5, their 5. So I'm there with the State Department. She's got what we call Facebook. It's a Facebook. Literally, we call it Facebook. And I'm like, who goes in? I don't decide who goes in. They tell me who goes in. She's like, this guy, this guy, this guy, this guy. And again, I say guys because it's guys. So ladies don't get mad at me because that's what it was. So I'm like, yes, yes, yes. Okay, we stop. And mind you, China's got like 50 people there kind of trying to get in. So I'm like, no, nobody else can go in. Doors closed behind me. Then this one guy comes, huge guy. I don't know he's a general, but he comes over and he sees me. He's like that. And I'm just like, but I'm a liaison. I'm a diplomat. So, I didn't speak the language. He obviously didn't speak English either. And he's just like, and I said, sir, we show him the Facebook, you're not. He's just like, and the State Department person happened to be a woman. I don't know if gender played a role or not. It may, maybe it didn't. So we're trying to tell him as nice as possible, you can't go in. He's not hearing it. He gets mad, steps away. Then we let the press come in. There was like 5 press that came in to do, but again, they're selected. So we're like 1, 2, 3, 4. Then he tries to sneak in with the press. I'm like, dude, you're like 6'5". How am I not going to see you? He's coming in with the press. So I put my hand up and I'm telling him no.
Not you, Yao Ming.
No, he was pretty angry. And I think because I'm doing this in front of the whole delegation. And so he gets pissed off and he grabs me by my suit and throws me through the...
Oh, he threw you.
Oh, yeah. Stuff like that was not that uncommon. So he throws me through the doors of where the president's meeting, the Duke president. So... and as he's doing this, I'm like, did this guy just fucking put hands on me? You expect it from a perpetrator. You expect it from somebody you're about to arrest. You don't usually expect it with other foreign delegations.
Did the doors open?
They did, and my head did this, and I see POTUS, and I'm like...
He's like, shit, she's having a tough day.
Another slow motion. So him and his team are like Marvin, who is like his head guy. Marvin's like... this. So we go back outside, and then Marvin quickly comes to the doors, and he just closes them again. And so
not checking on you. You're good.
Oh no, I'm fine.
You'll figure it out.
So I'm the only agent there at that moment because the other agents were, I think they were with somebody else down the hall, and
now was this guy in like fighting stance at this point? Like, are we talking boxing, karate? Like what?
So he does that. So I shove him back. I grab him by his suit collar and I ram him back. And apparently I shouldn't have done that because like the whole Chinese delegation jumped in. So I'm getting jumped by the whole Chinese delegation, literally. One guy grabbed me, put me in a chokehold, threw me up against the wall. The other guy was hitting me. So I'm on the radio. I'm like, somebody, I don't think I even got to. The staff member, White House staff sees this, runs, gets the other agents and says, hey, one of your people needs you. And I just see two of the other guys coming like, we're coming, Poumpouras. So because we went by last names, Poumpouras. And then it's just like, they're just peeling them off of me. And then we're literally in a brawl in the middle of a G summit for peaceful, you know, with the country, and we're fighting. Then the Mexicans come in, the Estado Mayor comes in, and then they jump in. And thank God there was no cameras. This would have made definitely newsworthy.
I can't believe this was not on the news. This is
because
crazy.
There's no cameras allowed.
I know, but still, like, someone had to leak this.
So it did not get leaked. It got leaked in my book. Secret Service let me put it in there.
Years later.
But yes, we got in a huge fight. Estado Mayor comes on, but the Estado Mayor saw the guy hit me first. And I appreciate my Mexican brothers. They were like, no, you touch her first. You did. No. Mija, come here. They were like, no. They're like, you okay? And I'm like, I'm pissed. I'm like,
where was the summit? This one?
No, it's not Mar de, Cabo San Lucas. Am I saying it right? This is bad. Cabo.
Yeah.
Cabo, yeah.
That's right.
That's where I think it was.
So it was in Cabo.
Yeah.
Now, like, is the Caboian police, like, arresting this guy? Like, how's...
Mexicans. No, they didn't arrest him because everyone's got diplomatic and... The Mexican police. The federales, which you don't want to mess with. They're pretty serious.
They might be in the cartel, too. That's the other problem.
Yes, we would be. That's another thing when you would work with foreign countries. You had to be very careful because you don't know who's legit. A lot of foreign countries are very corrupt. Again, no knock on Mexico, but that's a big problem down there. So we were very careful with what information we gave. But even if it was the cartels, I was like, thank you, gracias. But I was so pissed. I wanted to hit back, and then somebody was like, tranquilo. I'm like, did you just see what he did?
That's crazy.
My ponytail's all out of whack. Took me.
That's crazy.
But that was not uncommon. That would happen with certain countries. I think it happened with Turkey. I wasn't in that fist fight. I was almost in the fist fight with Turkey, but that didn't happen. So that would happen with some countries, yes.
Now, was that in Turkey when that happened?
No. There's a lot of testosterone when you have guns and drugs and, guns. We're talking about the cartels.
That's what we call a Freudian slip. Let's back that one up. Hold on a minute.
Guns. Well, we're talking about Mexico and the cartels. But anytime you have guns and badges and high testosterone, that does happen. And I think in the U.S., I want to say that we did a very good job in trying to mitigate this stuff. Not everybody's gonna. I think that's what the public doesn't realize. Like, everyone's like quick to bash the U.S. Like, you have no clue as to what other countries are like. The way they carry themselves, the way they conduct themselves. The fact that if you even pause and think, like, this general thought, after this guy hit me and we had this massive fight, they brought an interpreter over. The guy had the nerve to bring an interpreter over to me and start yelling at me. How dare you? How dare you hit him? Do you know who you put hands on? And I'm like, is this guy serious? He's like, this is General so-and-so. And the dude's standing there like this. The Mexicans are coming in. They're like, oh, boy, it's going to be another fight. And I'm like, I'm looking at this guy. I'm like, he's like, how dare you put hands on our general? And how dare you this? And I'm like, you tell your general? I'm like, how dare he touch a woman?
Yeah.
Even though it shouldn't matter in that context, but I was just so pissed. And he just sat there quietly. I'm like, tell him. I don't, I'm like, translate. And he wouldn't translate. I'm like, he hit me first. I'm going to hit back. Tell him to behave himself.
Wow. That's surreal. That's a crazy scene.
It's not uncommon. So I think when people are like, we're very courteous. Even Russia, I didn't get in a fist fight with Russians. And I like Russia. But they would mess with us. They would mess up with my motorcade. They would go into my hotel room, move shit around. They'd follow us.
They go into your hotel room and move shit around.
Yeah, it's Russia. What do you think they're doing? I'm there representing the United States of America. You think they're not going to go through my room?
I fully understand the context of what you're saying, but yes. I would not think that if there's an entire contingent of, say, Secret Service people who have maybe a bunch of rooms around each other and there's constantly people there because your literal job is to look for things that are amiss, I would not think that they're brazen to do that.
They were very brazen to do that, and they would do it on purpose, and sometimes we couldn't, like, because of the diplomatic relations, they'd be like, leave it alone. I remember once they closed the gates. I'm taking Secretary of Treasury Paulson to the Kremlin to meet with Putin. I do the whole advance. I'm there with the Russians. I'm thinking we're all good. And we're rolling in, and literally the Russians shut the gates right in front of my vehicle. and I'm behind Putin. Putin's in my protectee, Paulson, and they cut our motorcade in half. They close the gates. I jump out and I'm like, open up the gates. They're like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean, no? No, we're closing the gates. And I'm like, no. And so I'm sitting there and like now I'm brawling outside the Kremlin with the Russians because Putin or whoever thought it would be funny to shut the gates on us. This is like the stuff. It was like they probably could do a comedy reality show on the stuff we deal with.
I believe it.
And you want to throw down in that moment, and you can't because what you're going to do is going to affect the policy they're engaging in that moment. And so I'm fighting with the State Department. I'm like, how could you guys let this happen? State Department doesn't want to get in a fight with them because that's going to impact. So I will say, as the U.S., at least when it came to stuff like that, sometimes I wished we were more aggressive because we would let these countries get away with a lot of stuff with no repercussions.
Thank you for watching the video, guys. If you haven't already subscribed, please smash that subscribe button and check out this clip's full podcast episode by clicking here or in the description below.